Living in China sucks. But if it sucks so bad, why not just go home? 大家好，我是 Surat 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Surat in China. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm having a pretty good day myself, and today I want to talk to you about some of the biggest issues that I have living in China, and they're not going to be what you think. But before we get to that, do a guy a favor. If you like the content I'm making, help me share it with more people. You can do so really easily just by hitting that subscribe button and throwing me a thumbs up. This helps the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and share them with more people. And hey, if you really want to help out, there's a link down in the description below to a fantastic VPN called SimpleLink that not only works incredibly well, is very well priced with a lot of different options for different requirements, but if you need to get around geo-blocking, or you plan on traveling to China, perhaps you're already even here, or you just want a little bit more security in your internet connection, it's a fantastic choice and has a ton of different payment options, even if you happen to already be in China. Once again, that link is down in the description below. But let's talk today about my biggest gripe, my biggest complaint about living in China. And it has nothing to do with China or Chinese people, Chinese culture, or even the Chinese government. It has to do with other foreigners like me. See, a lot of people come over here to explore China, to explore the culture, and they do so by getting either teaching contracts or work contracts, and they want to be able to have a decent job while still being able to travel and have fun, which is all fine and dandy. That's exactly the reason I came to China in the first place, was I wanted to take a year off of my very stressful, very long hour job and be able to not only enjoy a bit of rest and travel, but also learn about the Chinese culture while still earning a decent income. Now, the problem with that is a lot of people will come over here and they will be able to get good jobs, very high paying jobs in a lot of cases, even for teachers, much more so than they would have been able to earn back home. However, the expectation is that they will be treated and society will be just like it was for them back home. For example, so many people that come over here don't like Chinese food. And so they end up eating in McDonald's and KFC all the time, and they're not happy about that because they don't have as many Western options as they did back home. Okay, well, this is China. Of course, the vast majority of the food options you're going to find are Chinese. Another complaint they have is that the streets, the public transportation, things like that are a lot more crowded, perhaps, than they're used to. I know that when I returned back to Canada for a short time, it was like living in a ghost town. It was so sparsely populated, it seemed, that I felt a lot of the times that I was completely alone, which simply wasn't the case, but you just didn't see the masses of population there. China is one of the most populated countries on the planet. There are 1.4 billion people here. Of course, you're going to see more people on the buses, on the streets, walking on the sidewalks, in the different facilities. There are just that many more people. And it's one of those things you kind of have to get used to. But the biggest complaint that I've heard from a lot of foreigners is that not enough is being done to address their inability, I'll put it kindly, their inability to speak Chinese. A lot of foreigners that come over here expect there to be English messages and English writing on the buses and on the public transportation to tell them where they need to go. They expect all the menus in all the restaurants to be in English as well, or to have English versions so that they can easily order food. They expect all the businesses and government offices and facilities that they need to use to have English to make life easier for them. Bullshit is what I cry on that. When I was back in Canada, I didn't see Chinese on all the menus in the restaurants. I didn't see Chinese on all the street signs and in all the buses. I didn't see Chinese on all the business signs and offerings for the citizens in Canada. So why would it be different here? It's interesting enough that in Canada it's a bilingual country with French and English, and in most of the country you don't see French anywhere. Nobody speaks it. It's not on the signs. It's certainly not on the street signs. Maybe on official government documentation, but nothing else. Yet people come over to China and expect China to translate their entire society into their language for them. So I hear this a lot, and I've heard this a lot. People saying, "Oh, it's so inconvenient. I have to use the translator on my phone." Or, "Oh, I can't talk when I want to tell the taxi driver where to go. I have to call my Chinese friend and tell him to talk for me." Or, "Oh, life is just so difficult there because I can't read or write Chinese. I can't speak Chinese." Blah, 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 blah. Get over it. I have a very common response to all of these people, and that is, if you dislike it so much, why don't you just go home? Why don't you go back to your nice, comfortable home in your nice, comfortable society where everything is in the right language? Everything is just so much easier for you. Well, the reality is, a lot of people are either in China because, one, they're running away from something, or two, they know damn well they can make a lot more money here for a lot less work. For example, the average university teacher, foreign university teacher here, works a very, very light schedule and has housing provided for them, oftentimes meals provided for them, so they can take all of that money that they make and bank it, because they often will get a very good salary, equivalent to or higher than the salaries they get back home. A lot of the employees here work a lot lighter hours in China than they would back home. So it's a lot easier of a job. And on top of that, there's all the travel aspects that they can go to travel around Asia and China and see all those amazing things. So in a lot of ways, it's like a big vacation. So they're not here to learn Chinese or to integrate into Chinese culture. They're here for a working holiday and they want it to be treated special, right? This whole idea of all public transportation in China should have English on all the signs. So who's going to pay for that? Who's going to actually pay the translators and the sign creators to make all of those signs specifically for the very few foreigners that happen to be here? Hmm. Doesn't make sense, does it? It seems a little ridiculous. Now, there's the other people as well in China, and there are a lot of them, and I've known a lot of them that are running away from problems back home. They're either massively in debt, they're running away from family issues, unwanted pregnancies. I've seen far too often here people leaving their responsibilities back home and running away, social problems, criminal problems. There are people that are here for the wrong reasons. They're here because they don't want to be found. Now, this is not the majority, but they are definitely here. And once again, when these people start complaining, that's like looking a gift horse in the mouth. You shouldn't be complaining about the society and the culture that is currently protecting you or keeping you from the responsibilities that you do not want to face. But any way you put it, so many of these people are so disappointed with Chinese culture because they're not willing to integrate. And that's the bottom line. I learned to speak Chinese. So now when I go out and go shopping or take the bus or go to a business, when I need work done on my car, when I need to buy certain products, I don't have to rely on other people. I don't have to phone my wife and say, "Can you tell this guy that I need my tire repaired?" I don't need to do that, all because I put in the effort. I got the books and the online courses and the materials and put in the time to be able to speak Chinese competently enough that I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. I can go travel by myself. I can go book hotel rooms. I can go to restaurants and I don't need to read the menu. Even if I don't understand anything on the menu, I can ask the people what's on the menu in Chinese, and they will be glad to explain it to me. and bring me exactly what I want. But this is because I put in the effort. So one of my biggest beefs in China is these people that whine and complain and whinge about, oh, China needs to make everything in English for me because it's just too hard. Once again, bullshit. If you find life in China too hard, if you're not willing to integrate into the culture and specifically to learn the language, go back home. Seriously. Just get on a damn plane and go back home. Because you know damn well in your country, whatever country that is, if foreigners came over there and refused to learn your language, would you change everything for them? I don't think so. I hear a lot in Canada and America. If you don't want to speak English, get the F out of my country. Wah, 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 wah. So why is it any different here? Why should China bend over backwards for you? Short answer, they shouldn't. If you don't like it, go back home. Face your responsibilities. Take that lower paying job where you have to work harder. Take that shitty infrastructure and lower standard of living, but just stop complaining to me. Anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for joining me on the channel. I've got a lot more content coming out soon. I'm going to be talking about some of the politics going on around the world that affect China. I'm going to be talking about certain applications which will make your life in China so much easier. And of course, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please feel free to hit me up in the comments below and I'll be happy to address them for you. But otherwise, you have yourselves a fantastic day and Zaijian.